What is up, everyone? Guys, listen up. In this video, we are going to be breaking down the new Borderline Justice Warbond. First of all, shout out to Arrowhead. They gave us the ability to get these Warbonds right away, fully unlocked, which meant that, I could test out the weapons right away, the hover pack against every single enemy type within the game, and whatnot. So after watching this video, you're gonna have answers to some of the main questions. Number one, is this a must-have warbond if you're trying to clear the highest difficulty of the game? Number two, is this a super fun warbond, or is this like a sweaty warbond? And number three, is this gonna benefit you when it comes to build crafting? So we're gonna go over all of that. For the weapons, we have the medium penetrating marksman rifle that has 300 damage. And we have a secondary weapon that has 200 damage, and it is also medium armor pen. The armor piece just gives you the ability to quick swap to your secondary weapon, and it also has a better reload speed. The recoil is reduced by a lot, by the way. And when it comes to the grenade, the dynamite, it's a pretty interesting tool, but is it gonna be like something game-changing? Not really. There's a bunch of better grenades here. We're going to talk about everything here in a second. The marksman rifle against the bugs, even though it one-shots warriors, it has stagger, it can deal with spewers as well. Marksman rifle is not going to be the reason for you to pick up this warbond if you enjoy playing against the bugs, and that's what you are looking forward to, because in general, I feel like against the bugs, single target weapons aren't the best. And yes, it is medium armor pen, which is great. And once again, you can destroy warriors, stagger commanders. It gets the job done when it comes to spewers, and the damage being at 300 makes it really strong. It's not a bad weapon at all, but just the nature of the bugs will not give you the ability to use this weapon to the point that you're going to feel like, oh, you know what? This weapon makes bugs easier, especially on the highest difficulty. That is not going to be the case. Now, does it feel good? Yes. Does it sound good? Yes. I even like the scope on it. But that said, there's just way better options, which are like energy weapons, explosive weapons, such as the crossbow, purifier, scorcher, bunch of other weapons. The eruptor is absolutely insane right now. When it comes to the secondary, I feel like this feels very good. The fact that it's medium armor pen and has 200 damage makes it very unique. On top of that, the ammo economy of it is very nice, because as long as you realize that you can shoot 5 to 6 shots and then just wait 1 or 2 seconds and do it again, it is pretty nice. The damage is high for a sidearm, but that said, it has really big competition when it comes to the bugs, and that's going to be the one and only ultimatum. The ultimatum, the fact that it can just delete impalers and bile titans and whatnot, puts it in a league of its own. So once again, when it comes to the weapons, I wouldn't be looking at this and be like, oh, you know what? I can't play against the bugs without this. The weapons are not going to be the main reason you're going to be looking at this warbond if we're talking about the bugs, essentially. Now, the armor is one of the fun armors, right? Like, it is pretty cool. But once again, it's not one of those perks on the armor that are game changers. This is more of a let's have fun kind of armor and let's role play kind of armor. For example, if you compare it to some of the other armors that makes it much more comfortable to play against the bugs, such as the medium armor with heavy petting or so on. It's just a fun armor. It's nothing crazy that you're going to be running 24/7. You might be running it more at the beginning when this war mod drops, right? Because you just want to have fun. But eventually, on the highest difficulty, this is not going to be my pick. Now, when it comes to the grenade, yes, it can be utilized against the bugs because the explosion is pretty nice. And the fact that you can set the timer from 5 seconds to 1 minute is really cool. You can just mess around with it and create some really funny moments with your friends. But that said, it's definitely not going to be your top pick against the bugs, because right now gas is king when we're talking about Terminids, and it's not even close. The crowd control that it provides just makes it much easier to play against them. So yeah, as you guys can see, none of the items that I just covered here are gonna be valuable to you when you're playing against the bugs. But now let's talk about the hover pack, because this thing has easily become one of my favorite items within the game, and I've been having a blast with it. The amount of playstyle it creates, new playstyles against the bugs, is next level, man. The fact that you can change positions and get to high ground so much easier now. Literally, you can just fly on top of bile titans, hover in the air, and get easy kills when it comes to like a lot of bugs when you're getting hoarded, or in general, just getting to like those crazy cliff areas where you can clear out nests and so on. I feel like this is going to be one of the more powerful stratagems. It works really well with some of the weapons, and I'm going to be uploading a bunch of builds for this stratagem alone because I truly believe it deserves it. Like, I've been having a blast, and I think that it's one of those tools that you're going to need time to master, but once you do understand how to not mess up and not deal damage to yourself, for example, if you're using a flamethrower with this, it's going to be incredible. And we're going to take the gameplay with this to the next level with some of the builds that I have in mind, so stay tuned for that. So for the bugs, the only item that I would say that is valuable to you is going to be the hover pack. This is just my opinion. The secondary is pretty decent, but once again, ultimatum exists. And until that exists, it's going to be a tough sell for me. Now let's talk about the one and only bots, because this is where it kind of all shifts. Now, when it comes to the bots, the weapons, I think that the DEADEYE with the 300 damage, the medium armor pen, will be one of my favorite weapons when it comes to the bots. As long as you're landing your shots, as long as you're landing those beautiful headshots, this weapon feels very rewarding, and the fire rate is also very, very good. You got to get used to the reload, obviously, and, you know, kind of not put yourself in positions where you have to do a full reload all the time. But apart from that, the damage is very nice. For example, if you compare it to the DCS, it has 100 more damage. And on top of that, it has stagger. And that is such a big deal when you're playing against the bots. Landing those headshots and just deleting your enemies so easily with one bullet feels extremely rewarding. And once again, the stagger just makes it much more safer to play against the bots. When it comes to the secondary, this is something that feels very nice against the bots as well. And I'm gonna be honest here, the Senator obviously is very strong, but the fact that you can essentially keep shooting this weapon without having to reload makes it a pretty solid pick against the bots. These are just my thoughts about this. Now, when it comes to the armor, once again, it's just a roleplay armor, okay? Like, yeah, it can feel fun and whatever, but I don't think that if you're trying to, for example, play against the bots right now, even if it's the new Incineration Corpse or whatever it is, you're not going to be running this armor, right? Like, you're most likely going to be running the heavy armor that has fire resistance. And on top of that, you could use the weapon, which is the new Marksman, and land those beautiful shots and get some easy kills. You really can. That's how good it feels. The secondary, as said, is also pretty nice. As long as you're landing those headshots, it feels even better. 200 damage for this one is very good. 750 fire rate. You can kind of spam the pistol and do tons of damage, but then you gotta reload because you will overheat it. So that is something that you need to get used to. And then we have the grenade. The grenade, once again, is it a cool tool? Yes. Am I going to use it over thermites when I'm playing against the bots? No, I'm not. I think the thermites are more valuable. I think the thermites give you the ability to, for example, delete hulks. You just throw it at them and forget about them. So it definitely has more value. But when it comes to the weapons, though, they feel really good against the bots. The hover pack, on the other hand, on the bots, this is a crazy one because it is very dangerous if you play it aggressively. So if your plan is to, I'm gonna, you know, push the bots with the hover pack, just fly up and boom, destroy everything, that ain't happening. You're gonna get deleted. The aimbot is gonna jump in and you're gonna get absolutely annihilated. But if you use it as a tool of positioning yourself to, let's say, you know, place the anti-tank emplacement, or let's say you have the Quasar and you're trying to get a good line of sight to destroy some missions, it's gonna work really well. So there's not as much value on the bot side for the hover pack as there is on the bug side, in my opinion, but it still can be utilized, especially if you're trying to enjoy the game in a scout manner, right? So if you want to be that character that kind of gets the missions done without getting involved too much, you can put on the scout armor, you can put on this bad boy, get some crazy positions and destroy the missions from far, far away and then extract. So yeah, it can be valuable, but as I said, it is much more valuable and it feels like it's more created to deal with the bugs simply because of some of the other playstyles that it has unlocked. And once again, I'm going to be uploading tons of builds for the bugs when it comes to the hover pack. I cannot wait. Now let's talk about the squids. When it comes to the squids, the hover pack itself is definitely going to have value, especially in city biomes, because you can position yourself like an absolute madman. But when it comes to the weapons, the marksman rifle one-shots overseers to the head which feels very nice, dude. Now, when it comes to the zombies, let's be honest, zombies, you can literally kill zombies with a spoon at this point. So it doesn't really matter what you're using, you can destroy them. Is the marksman or the pistol gonna be the best choice against the said zombies? I don't think so, because the marksman is single fire, and I prefer to have something that is either full auto against them, or in general something that just mows them down really fast. That said, if you are using the marksman and then you combine it with something like the stalwart, it's gonna feel incredible, because you have this precision weapon that can even take down the tripods, and on top of that you have the stalwart that just is going to destroy the zombies. Now, even though both of these weapons feel okay against the Illuminates, and as I said, the marksman one-shots the overseers, which I'm not gonna lie, that is actually pretty effective, I still don't think that these are gonna be the best weapons in most scenarios against Illuminates. You have, for example, the purifier, which with one charged shot can get rid of like huge amount of zombies, and you have the scorcher, which has really good single target damage as well. You also have the blitzer that staggers and stuns them. So there's a bunch of great options. However, out of the two new weapons, I think the marksman would have more value when we're talking about the squids. Now, is this a warbond that would be in the top 3 warbonds that you need to buy if you're trying to make the highest difficulty of the game much more comfortable for you and your team? The answer to that is no. For example, like, you can't compare this to the chemical agents when we're talking about the bugs, because the gas is insane. And as we said, when it comes to the bugs, there's like one tool that is actually good. That's going to be the hover pack. Is this warbond going to provide a lot of value to build crafting? I would say that it wouldn't be super valuable in terms of build crafting. So for example, if you're trying to play against the bugs, it will. This is just my thoughts. The hover pack is insane against the bugs. But other than that, what kind of value does it provide, for example, compared to the chemical agents or the eruptor and crossbow warbond and many others in there? There's just so many good warbonds that create amazing build crafting value. And finally, should you pick up this warbond if you're looking to find something very unique when it comes to the weapons and extremely unique when it comes to the hover pack and have tons of fun? Yes. It is a very fun warbond, no doubt about it. One of the more unique warbonds because the weapons feel very nice. The sound designs are great. The damage is very good on them. The ammo economy is great. And on top of that, you have a hover pack that completely changes the game. So at the end of the day, if you have all the other warbonds, you should 100% go for this. If you don't have any warbonds, there's a video on the channel where I go over which warbonds are the best. I have them in a tier list. Go for that video, check it out. Pick up those warbonds first if you're trying to become stronger and beat the game easier. And eventually with time, pick up this warbond because it is an absolute blast to use the hover pack. Now, I haven't really used the booster as much because I don't really have any need for the samples. I'm going to look a bit more into this and let you guys know how this feels. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Make sure to let me know what do you guys think about it in the comment section below. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Tons of content is on the way. Stay positive, stay disciplined, and I'll see you all on the next one.